Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome to the Center of Love, a community on a quest to lead with love and to sow the seeds of love wherever we go. Now, we know that this is a monumental task. And so for this reason, we gather to inspire each other, to support each other, to share wisdom, to uplift, to fill our cups, so that when we go back out into the world, we can be champions of love. My name is Ollie, and I will be your host today. And in case you're looking for the Center of Love, in case you're looking to refer your friends, you want to tell them where it is, you can let them know that the Center of Love is at the corner of here and now. That's right, folks. Everywhere you go, wherever you are, the Center of Love is with you. You're in it. It's in you. And my friends, this is the secret of love. It's inexhaustible. It's an endless source. We can keep pulling from it and it just keeps giving. And so this is why we're together, to help each other, to open our hearts and tap into that infinite source of love. So welcome. And thank you for being here. Thanks for getting up early on a Sunday morning to come crash into my downstairs living room. I feel really grateful to have you all here and online, of course. As you know, the Center of Love is open and accepting of all. We believe that human beings are one big, giant, sometimes dysfunctional family. And so whatever your views, whatever you identify with or as, whether you are coming to us at your lowest or at your highest, you are welcome here. You are loved and accepted here, and we're so grateful to have you. Now, just for anybody here who hasn't done this before, and we've only done it once, so I mean, we're kind of all in the same boat here. The function of these gatherings is quite simple. We're here to learn and to teach, to have our cups filled, or to fill other people's cups if yours is overflowing. If you're low, let us lift you. And if you're high, help lift somebody else, right? We're all here to support each other. And the way that we do this in these gatherings is pretty straightforward. It's a simple format. I get up here, introduce some stuff. We have somebody come forward and do a talk, after which we meditate on the talk. And then we have our own conversation about whatever the subject or whatever came up for you during the talk. And so today we have a talk, and our speaker is, in my opinion, a truly remarkable human being. Throughout all her time on earth, Cressa Sisu has accrued a massive storehouse of wisdom and experience. She's a beacon of positive energy and support with a wicked sense of humor and little patience for trivialities, which, by the way, is one of the qualities that attracted me to her when I first met her. My entire family has been blessed to accept her and welcome her into our ranks. She's known as Mumu in our house, which I believe is Finnish for grandma. Thank you. And today, my soul mother is going to share some insights into what she believes is the purpose of suffering, a subject that I think all of us can relate to, and a subject about which she knows quite a lot. So with that, Cressa, I welcome you to the pulpit.
All right, well, you know what our topic is, the purpose of suffering. It's like, wow, how dare I talk about something so heavy? But I'm going to put a different spin on it today. And I think there is an upside. And I think it's quite important to understand how it works in our life and the dramatic role that suffering can play on our evolving. So I personally think there are two kinds of suffering. Suffering that we create ourselves with our own mind. I'm sure many of you can identify with that. Yes. Okay. I personally think a lot of our suffering is self-inflicted. For example, you want a new car, you want more money, you want a different job, you want anything that you want to desire, and it has not showed up. So what happens? How do you feel about it? So we think about it and think about it, and we want something different. We want it to be the way we want it to be, right? And it isn't that way. So we suffer. Or we allow all kinds of externals to affect our equilibrium. like somebody cuts you off in traffic or somebody says an unkind word to you, and that hits us. And we can really react. Let's say it's traffic. Just on a side note for traffic, I've seen this happen. So people get so upset, somebody cuts them off. That cortisol stays in your body for 6 hours after. So I had this happen to me in Ontario. This guy's mad at me. He's giving me the finger. He's very upset. And I turned around and smiled at him. Well, so you can imagine how upset. Now I knew I wasn't going to receive that, but he was for the next 6 hours. So just a little side note. So I love this line. All suffering comes from wanting things to be different than what they are. But this type of suffering, you have control over. You can accept the circumstances as what they are, and then this creates more balance and more harmony, even when things aren't the way you want them to be. You can decide to change your mind about something, or you can look at other ways of seeing it and minimize your thoughts on the negativity. To do this, though, you need to see that you are not all your thoughts. You're not just this mind, you are way bigger than that. You are a human having a spiritual experience, or a spirit having a human experience, whichever way you want to look at it. I prefer the latter. Either way, we can allow these thoughts to rent space in our head, or we can decide whether we want to listen to it or not. We do have control over that. To be able to do this, first, we need to quiet the mind. Not always easy, and that's what we're going to do after the talk here, is meditate. When we are the awareness or the witness to our thoughts, we can see that this is happening. By being the witness to our thoughts, we can see that we actually do have control over them. This is why meditation is so important to me. I've been meditating for about 30 years, and I can see what a dramatic effect it's had on my life to have this process. And I have to say I'm pretty good at it. I'm pretty consistent. I meditate every day. Sometimes an hour, sometimes 20 minutes, just depends. Sometimes my mind rambles the whole time. And other times I go to these very deep places where I get such incredible insight, and I am so grateful. But either way, it doesn't really matter. What I think the process is about training the mind that it's not in charge, even when it thinks it's in charge. So now let's talk about the second type of suffering that I want to identify. And this is, again, just my own ramblings about suffering. The second type of suffering is when something happens to you without you having any control over it. So this could be a dramatic event from childhood that was inflicted upon you, an accident, or a loss of a loved one, or a loss of a job. This is when something from the outside comes in to disturb your world. You have no control over the event, but you do have control over how you handle it. Ram Dass says, suffering is that which forces you to grow spiritually and brings you closer to awakening to who you in truth really are. Suffering is one of our greatest teachers as it cracks us open, and that's how the light gets in. My illness in the early 90s was very intense suffering that challenged me to the core. But it challenged me to see things differently. And it was the catalyst for my pursuing a spiritual path. The personality ego wants to avoid suffering at all costs. It'll push it away. It may avoid it. And that's when it festers and becomes more of an issue. So suffering, if we look at it, can also help us grow, and we can then move past it. I had something pretty traumatic happen just recently from an incident that happened when I was quite young. I was 5 or 6, and the perpetrator was my mother. Dealing with this issue was extremely painful and challenging. And I am so eternally grateful that I had the immense support and love from Candace and Ollie as they held space for me to move through it and to really feel it, and then be able to let it go and actually forgive her. I thought I had forgiven her ages ago. I've talked about this incident, said, oh yeah, it's all done, but obviously I hadn't. Releasing this traumatic event helped me to let go of something that had been damaging to my physical and mental state and had been lurking in my subconscious for a very long time. And as I reflected on this, I could see the purpose in this, as difficult as it was. I could see that that's what made me so strong on my sense of justice. That incident made me realize how important kindness is. And I think it was the catalyst that drove me to be a social worker so that I could help others. So it had an immense purpose in my life. Dealing with trauma can move us beyond the personality and closer to our spirit self, and has no suffering. That place of I am presence, that oneness of everything, when we really look around at how stunningly beautiful this world is, all the flowers, the trees, we can realize that we are not this personality. We are way more than that. And that's where forgiveness takes place. To me, the opposite of suffering is love. Love conquers all. That's what this community is about to me. It's about learning to love ourselves, to love others, learning to tap into this love that's in everything and everywhere. That's the place of grace. I am very grateful that I'm at this place in my journey that I can actually be with these past challenges. I have developed the courage and a support network that allows me to go within even when it isn't very pleasant and even when it's quite ugly. And that is what this community is about supporting each other in our challenges, being able to go past difficult things and see the light at the other side. And also to celebrate the good times, like we're celebrating beautiful Candace's birthday today. And so that we know that we've got each other's back. During this time of divisiveness, I think this community will be a cushion, a landing place for us all. We need this kind of continuity, this kind of love where we can just be ourselves and allow others to be themselves. To see each other's magnificence and immense potential, and to be that voice for each other. Sometimes we need other people to say, yeah, you can do it, you've got it, go for it. Because we may not have that within ourselves. So I'd like to end with this is a beautiful book, if you're interested. And my lovely friend Liz gave this to me for my birthday. And I love this book. It's amazing. So this is a loving kindness affirmation from Ram Dass's book. It's a Buddhist tradition. And I'll end with this. May we be free from inner and outer harm and danger. May we be safe and protected. May we be free from mental suffering and distress. And may we be happy. May we be free from physical pain and suffering. And may we be healthy and strong. And may we be able to live in this world happily, peacefully, joyfully, and with ease. Thank you.
While we were doing our thing, so how was that for you folks? Was it as good for you as it was for me? Better? That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Good meditation, good insights, good connection, lots of conversation. I just let it go because everybody was chit-chatting and it seemed like everything was going well. So didn't want to cut things off prematurely. All right. So I hope that everybody here has had a chance to fill their cups. If it was already overflowing, I hope you were able to help fill someone else's cup. What I would like to ask you now is, what will you be sharing with us in the future? Right? Because this is an open mic morning. This isn't my show or Cress's show, it's everybody's show. And I know that everybody here has something to offer. So start looking at your calendars every second Sunday. There's open slots basically all the way down the line indefinitely. So, and I will say this, if the suggestion of you coming up here and doing the hosting or a talk triggers thoughts like, not me, I'm not qualified, I have nothing to offer, no gifts, nothing to say, do me a favor and politely tell that voice in your head to shut up. Every single person here has a wealth of wisdom, experience, insight. What are you passionate about? Tell us about your art. Tell us about your profession. Are you an energy healer, I don't know anything about energy healing. Get up here and tell us why energy healing works for you and what drove you to it. Literally, there are no restrictions, endless possibilities, and genuinely everybody here is supportive. So you don't have to worry about getting up here and people not liking what you had to say or critiquing you and all that stuff. We're all here for love. So just keep that in mind, please. And yeah, let us know ideas, suggestions, whatever you've got. This place is literally growing and evolving as we speak. So we need all of your energies and contributions. That's what makes this place live and breathe. And now, as we close our gathering, I invite you all to close your eyes one more time and breathe deeply. Breathing in love and blowing out fear. Breathing in peace and blowing out the disturbances of your mind and heart. What a blessing. What a blessing it is to be here now, together, during these strange and uncertain times, guided by divine intelligence and protected by divine love. And furthermore, to know that our intelligence is one with divine intelligence, and to know that our love is one with divine love. As the ancient Vedic philosophers asserted, Tat Tvam Asi, which means you are it. Look no further. You are the center of love. Amen.